Okay, I guess we will be able to start. Hello, everybody. My name is Olivier Leblanc. I'm a last year PhD student in applied math, supervised by Laurent Jacques here in École Polytechnique de Louvain. And today I would like to share the use of Inkscape, which is a software that will allow you to draw images in vectorial formats such that it's not a bitmap format. And in this case, you can draw any image that you would like to draw, and it will be smooth at any resolution because the encoding is different. So I told you, so most people, I guess, are online, and I hope you can hear me well. And I have still a few people in the room. So if you plan to follow, don't hesitate to interrupt and to tell me if there is something that that is not clear. And then I will try to be slow enough such that you can follow the steps. So now I'm just clicking to open Inkscape. I will just take a new document here. Oh, merci Gobi. Can you confirm that you can see my screen online? Okay, perfect. Okay. So this is basically the interface that you receive when you open Inkscape. So a white page and a lot of buttons. What we will draw today, maybe I will show you how it looks. It should be a chemical bottle. Just opening the final results such that you can try to anticipate how it will look. Okay, so this is what we will try to draw together. So the basics of Inkscape is that you can draw geometries, lines, etc. Let's start with a simple line. So here on the left, you can see you have many buttons. Here, I can select the pen tool. Then I selected it, and I can basically draw a line like that. So I left click again, and I drew a line. If I want to stop drawing lines, I can right click with my mouse, and then I have a line. Okay. And what you can see with this line is that you have two nodes on the sides of this line. Okay. And you can basically here in the node 2. Move the nodes, etc. Okay? Okay, so this was simple to draw a line. But then what is more interesting, let's say, is to draw a rectangle. So I selected the rectangle here on the left. I'm left clicking with the mouse. I'm dragging until some size that fits my requirements. And then here you see that by default I have a blue rectangle. But I don't want to have the color. So here in the bottom, you see that you have many colors to select. I will first press Shift on my keyboard and then select the black so that the contours will be in black. And then I will click on known color to remove the blue color of the rectangle. Okay, for everyone until here? So now you see that we have a rectangle. And we would like to see the nodes of this rectangle. If I'm trying to select the node, you see that you don't have nodes yet. But still what you can do here, for example, is to select this corner that is a circle. And if you drag it until the bottom, you see that you can basically smooth the corner of the rectangle. But more interestingly, here on top, what I can do is go to path, and the rectangle, which was an object, can be converted into a path, such that here now I have all the nodes that I can play with. Okay, and what is interesting with nodes is that basically what you can do is that you can make them smooth. So for example, here you can see that this is the option to have straight lines, but this is already the case. But if I select curved lines, then I selected it. And if I left click on this line, I can basically modify the geometry of the line. Okay. If I want to cancel, I press Ctrl Z, like that. What I can do as well is you have many options here. If I want to draw, to add a new node between, here you see that I have more nodes. Why? Because I didn't recover the rectangle completely at the end, so I will do it again. So I'm drawing a rectangle, setting no color, okay, like that. If I do object to path again, you will see that I have only 4 nodes, okay, like that. And what I can do, for example, is to select the 2 nodes on top, and then click on the plus button here, and you see that I added basically a new node in the middle of the top line. Okay. What I can do now is basically move this node, and you can see that it is not a rectangle anymore. It could go up to drawing a house or anything. Until there, what is possible too is to, so basically now what you can see is that the shape is completely closed, but you would like to open the shape for any reason. What I can do is select the node, so I can draw a zone that will contain the node, or I can basically left click on it. And now what I can do is here, instead of joining, you can select break path at selected node, such that now if I click on the node again, and if I want to try to move it, you can see that the shape is broken, and you can basically have 2 nodes that are separated, and that you can move independently between each other. Okay for the basics? Perfect. So I will delete everything and do it again. So if you want to zoom in, zoom out, basically with the water of the mouse, you can go up and down, and if you press Control, you can zoom in, zoom out. It's classic zooming. Okay. So if I want to draw the chemical bottle that I showed you earlier, I will start by drawing a circle here. So I selected the circle in the left column. I will basically draw it, but you can see here that if you don't take exactly the shape of a circle, it's more an ellipse than a circle. So what you can do is press Control, and then if you press Control and you go more or less in the diagonal, you will see that it will still be a circle. Okay, so I drew my circle. Then what I'm doing now is that I will again put the contours in black and remove the inside color. And then if I want to get the shape of a chemical bottle, what I need to do is to add a rectangle, more or less to represent the outer part of the bottle. So I'm doing it here, like that. And if you want to center it, there are different possibilities. What I advise you to use is the button here on the top right, which allows you, it's called snapping. It allows you to apply magnetism to the nodes and to the shapes that were already drawn. So basically, if I selected this option, then if I move the rectangle, you will see that basically it will try to find some symmetries and propose you a nice symmetry, so that here now, it's easy for me to basically put it at the center with respect to the horizontal line. Okay, so I added the rectangle, and then what I will do is add a last rectangle to draw the output of the bottle. So let's draw it again now, like that. Still removing the inside color here. And what I will do is to smooth the corners of this bottle like that, let's say, okay? And then we have more or less the shape of the chemical bottle. Did you all manage to do it until now? Okay, cool. So now, what you would like to do is to get the chemical bottle to be a single shape, okay? So what we need to do is to combine these three. So what I will do is select these shapes, this path. I will go to path, and you see that here you can take a couple of Boolean operations between shapes. Basically, what I will select here is the union between them. And then you get some kind of the contours of the chemical bottle like that, okay? And if you go back to taking the notes, you can see what are the nodes that have been drawn thanks to these operations. And you could play like that with any node if needed. Okay, until here? Okay, now what we would like to do is to add color to the bottle. So I selected the bottle, it's really important. Then I can basically left click in on any color that I want. Let's take the blue, for example. And then the color has been added to the shape. But I would like to make it maybe more realistic. So what I will do is here on the right, you have many tabs with options. I think that you have the fill and stroke tab that is already open for everybody here. So what you can do is select this tab, and here basically within the options you have RGB values and the transparency, which is the last one. What you could do is to decrease the transparency so that we can see that it's a little bit more realistic. But even more interesting than that, what we can do is instead of coloring the whole object with a flat color, what we can apply is gradients to the color inside the object. So you see that you have linear gradient. If I show you, you can see that it's a gradient along the horizontal axis. But what we will be interested in here is to apply a radial gradient. And you can see that basically there is more blue in the middle of the shape than on the sides, like that here, okay? But what we want to do is maybe to do the color gradient only with respect, no, forget what I was saying, sorry. What we can do is basically reverse by clicking on this button here on top right to reverse the color gradients. And then it's the converse, so you have more blue on the sides and less in the middle. But we can do even more interesting than that. What we can do is to play with the position of the gradient. But I forgot how to do that. Tu te rappelles, Jérôme, par hasard? Non.
At least we know it's possible.
Okay, about exactly this modification, I forgot, so I will basically provide you with the information that allows you to do that, but it's not compulsory to continue. So let me just continue without playing with the position of the color gradient. what I would like to do now is to fill the bottle with some chemical material. So what I can do is basically I will draw a new circle that will represent the chemicals inside. So I'm selecting a circle on the left again. What I can do is more or less start within the center, press Ctrl and Shift, such that we drew a circle and that it starts from the position where we started, like that. And I will remove the snapping because it prevents me from doing what I want. Here, you see that we drew a circle that is more or less contained within the bottle, okay? And now we would like to add a color that is maybe more meaningful. Let's say, so here you have many different colors, and in the last version, you see that you have arrows that allow you to play with, to change the color options. Let's take maybe one like that, a pink color, okay? So here you see that the bottle is completely filled in, but we would be more interested in just drawing the bottle that is partially filled. So what we can do is to just draw a temporary shape that will help us to cut the previous shape. So I had my circle, I'm selecting it, and then I press Shift and select the rectangle, such that both shapes are selected. And what I can do is to click on Path, and then instead of union, what I can take is the difference between the two. And if I do so, you see that I have basically only the bottom part, so which was not related to the rectangle, that is colored, okay? What I can do here as well is that you see that it looks like it's not real, but what we can do instead is to put the chemical material behind the glass. So how can I do that? I can change the order of priority of the objects. So here, if I want to put it behind the glass, I can just select this button that will lower to bottom with respect to all the objects here, but the only object is the chemical bottle. So if I click, you can see that it looks like more if it was contained within the chemical bottle. And the looking depends, of course, on the transparency that you chose for the blue color of the chemical bottle. Okay, for everyone? Okay, let me check the reminder to see if I explained you everything until here. All of viewing, grouping. Okay, grouping. Perfect. So now, if I'm just selecting the bottle and moving it, you see that, of course, the material contained within is not coming with. So what I want to do is to group them together. So I can select all of them, and then I will press Ctrl G for a group. If I press that, you see that now I can basically move both of them, and if I select one, actually it became a single shape. Okay? So here I would say the default left button is the selector tool. It allows you to select objects. And if I click once, what you see is that you can play with the size of the object. And if you want to not deform it, still you press Ctrl and then you can drag and drop, okay? And playing with the size like that. And if I left click again, what you can see is that you can basically play with the orientation of the object. Okay, and if you want to rotate it with a given angle, for example, here you can rotate it by 90 degrees, and there are other options. I won't show all the options, but I'm just showing the ones that are the most used. I think it's like that for the bottom. what we would like to do now is to reproduce the button because we would like to, for example, show it on a complete bench. So here I'm selecting the button, and on the in the tabs on the right, within the options there is an option that is called Create Tiled Clones, but I guess that you don't have this tab yet. Okay, to get this tab, I think I will basically Google it because I forgot as well. Yeah, we'll basically maybe remove the sound for a few seconds. Okay, yeah. So it's in edit, so I'm coming back to Inkscape. If I go to edit, and then you have, in edit, you have the option clone, then create clone. I guess it will open the tab for you. Can you try that? Okay, perfect. So now, if it opens the new tab, you can basically select the tab and put it along with all the tabs that you will use many times. Okay? And once this tab is opened, what you can do basically is to play with, let's just do a repetition for now. So here I have symmetry, simple translation, and then I can choose if I repeat within rows or columns. Here I selected 6 columns. So if I click on create, oh yeah, here I will be removing the rotation like that. So I guess that now if you will remove another option like that. I think that if you click on create with 6, you will see that. Is it the case? Yeah, it's working? Okay, perfect. So basically you can repeat any shape like that. So it's basically translational repeating. And if I want to do a rotational symmetry, I would just take that I don't have any message. Okay. How to remove the top again. Thank you, Laurent, to answer for the questions. Okay, perfect. So I see that there are people explaining what are the answers. So now, if I want to do a rotational symmetry instead, what I can do is to, here I will compensate for a shift, because let's say I'm not compensating in advance. If I'm clicking on rotation here in this tab, let's say I want to get 6 repetition and I want to do a full circle. What I can do is apply a 60 degrees angle between each repetition. And if I create it, sorry, of course you have to put the 60 degrees for the per column option, like that. And I think it should work. I think it's because I had many selections, so I will select it again. Now I will try to apply my rotation. And what you can see here is that basically you have a shift between all of these repetitions, and this is not what I want. So what you have to do is to compensate for this shift if you don't want it. and if you want to get all the repetitions in the same position. So I'm selecting the repetitions, I'm clicking delete to delete these repetitions, and I'm keeping the rotation angle, of course. But in the shift here, in the per column option, in the X shift, I will compensate for the default shift by clicking on, by selecting -100. And then if I create, you see that I got 6 repetitions with 60 angles of the same shape around the center of the original shape. But even more interesting than that, if you want to apply the repetitions against with respect to another center, what you can do is you click once, a second time to get the rotation options, and here you have the assumed center of the shape that you can drag and move away. And then if you apply the rotation with create here, you see that you are applying the rotations with respect to another center. Okay for everyone? So basically we finished this small example that shows you how to draw lines, shapes, combine shapes together, apply colors, apply symmetries, and with that you can do already a lot. But now what we would like to do is maybe to save, of course, the file. So let's say we want to save that. So I selected everything with Control A for Control All. And I would like, what you see here is that you have basically an A4 blank page, which is...
Yes, so the Linux version of Inkscape has a completely different interface from the Windows one.
Oh, and what do you miss in your interface?
Just don't know where how it shows up. Otherwise, the other features are in different toolbars. They can be found. But this window is really good.
Oh, and you mean the positions of the buttons, etc. You don't.
You have completely different toolbars. So the functions.
Are you sure that you have the same version? Because I am under Linux and it seems like these.
So maybe it's a version problem.
Yes, I downloaded the last version yesterday. It's 1.3.1, I guess. But I think you need to be sure that you install the last version. Anyway, this will be recorded, and you will have the opportunity to come back to these explanations. I guess that you don't have the right version, because I think it's like Inkscape is an open source software that is community maintained. So I think it should be more or less the same for any OS. Okay, so I'm sorry about that for today. So what I was saying is, here you see that the A4 blank page will be the default region that will allow you to save the file as a PDF or SVG format, which is the format for the graphical vector object. So if I'm happy with putting the object within the A4 blank page, I can just adjust the size. I put it where I want, and then I can click on File, Save As, and then within the options you have Inkscape SVG, or you can save as PDF or other formats as well. But most of the time you need PDF for the papers, for the talks, etc. Here I'm keeping the default options, and if I go to my files, I don't know actually where I saved it, so I will just save it in the downloads here, drawing, and if I check, here you see that basically I saved the SVG file, and if I want to open it again, of course I can double click, and if I want to save it as a PDF file, I will do it again. So save as. I'm here in the right position. Click selecting PDF, loading, OK, and then you can see that you have the drawing that is available here. Okay, and what you can see is that if you zoom in, basically it will be always a nice resolution, which will not be the case if you drew that with a PowerPoint or let's say Paint. And if you zoomed in on a bitmap format of it with pixels. Okay? But if you want to save only the interesting parts, so maybe I will put the sound again while I'm thinking about it. If you want to save only the interesting part, what you can do instead, here, what you can do is select all the objects, and here in the tabs, I hope that you have the document properties tab, but I think you don't have it again, so you need to open it once. I guess it should be somewhere like here.
Or you can click on the little arrow on the right.
This one?
No. Just here.
Yeah, this one?
That one? Yes.
Yes, thank you. So basically here you have, can you see it?
Settings under below. Yes.
This one? Document properties, thank you. So basically, if you click, thank you for that, on this arrow, you see that you have all the possible tabs, and you have document properties here. And then what I can do, once I open this tab, is instead of choosing the A4 format for my object, what I can do is to click on resize to content, such that I'm only selecting to the content. And then now I can save it. I will save it as a PDF again, such that I can show you how it looks. I'm saving as PDF. Okay. I will replace with the with respect to the previous version, and then if I open the PDF, you see that now you don't have the blank space that you didn't want at that moment. Okay. So done with the example. So maybe what I would like to show you, and this is interesting to most of you as well, is how can we do to import a figure from a paper, any paper that you were interested in, or you would like to compare your data to their data, or you would like to add your data to their curve and plots. So what you can do is you can select any paper that you want. I just selected one in advance. So yes, maybe I will just copy paste this link such that you can download it today. I will copy paste it on Teams, and I will. It's actually already on the GitHub that is associated to this tutorial. And I will add the link. I think I will send you by email. But anyway, so basically you find a paper that is available online. You can download the PDF by clicking on PDF here. So I loaded the PDF. I will save it in my computer. I will save it in downloads. I will call it tutor paper. Now it has been downloaded. And I would like to import, maybe I will show you how the paper looks. So it's a classical paper talking about things. Let's say I'm interested in loading this figure, okay? What I can do is to go on Inkscape. I can go to File, Import, and then I can select the paper that I just downloaded, okay? I will double click. And then either you load all the pages, or you load only the page that contains the figure that you wanted. Here it's not the one, that one, it's the second page. You see that you have a preview on the right. I will select this page. So I basically just imported it. It takes some time to import the page. But now you see that basically you got the page of the paper, okay? I will zoom in a bit. And if I want to get only the figure, what I have to do is to see, okay, here I can see that this text is not grouped to the object, so I can delete it. Here as well, so I will just drag and drop and select all this text that is around the figure I'm interested in, here like that, okay? And then I will remove that again as well. And now, you have this shape that is completely available. You see that basically you can see it clearly. So you see that it has been drawn with some software like Inkscape. And what you can do now is completely free. You can start from this shape, and you can rotate it. You can change the color, as I showed earlier. You can separate objects. So here you can see that for now, the whole object is grouped together. But what I can try to do is to ungroup the shapes. To do that, either I go to Edit. Is it? Here, it's in Object. Object, you have Group, Ungroup. So either you go there, or you click Control G to group, Control Shift G to ungroup. So if I press Control Shift G, I basically here you can see that it has been ungrouped. And if I want to remove only this sensor location, for example, I'm selecting all the shapes that contain what I want to remove or to move basically somewhere, and I can move it anywhere I want. Okay, I can also select it only this tube and change its color if I want. Okay, so I can do anything I want.
For example, if you want to split where there is the graph already, because it's one object, if you want to make it.
So let's check if it's if you want to split. I think what you need to do is to draw a new. Maybe you have to draw something with lines to be exactly at the middle. Let's say I will draw something that goes in. Checking live, but I know it's possible. I will just see if I can do it now. So I'm so I drew a shape. I'm clicking on the object that I want to break. I press Shift left click to select both. And if I go to maybe path, it will maybe it will be break part, something like that. Let's check if it works. It's not this option. I think maybe it's this option, but sometimes it depends in which order you selected the objects. Should be something like that. Let me try again. Or maybe I would say an option that goes quicker, but that is maybe not the ideal, is that you can basically copy paste to get twice the version. Oh, here. Oh, it seems that here there was some kind of this shape that was drawn on top. You see. But anyway, if I want to break this shape, what I can do. If it was contained within the object, what I can do is create copy paste such that I can get two copies, and I can basically I will copy paste the cut. That's what I can do is select both. Then I can go to path and take the difference. I'm taking the difference on one side. And then here, I think there is an option to not take the inverse of the difference. I think there is an option to change this difference.
The intersection.
Let me try. Intersection. Yes, thank you. And then I got two objects that are separated. I think there are many ways. Anytime you have an ID, you can Google it or ask ChatGPT, it will help you quite fast. Okay, I'm done with importing a figure from a paper. Now, also, I didn't put a template yet, but to draw your posters, you can do it as well with Inkscape. It's the same thing you can add. So maybe I didn't show you how to add text here. I'm selecting text on the left. If I want to describe anything that is shown on your figure, I can select the text, and then I can write anything. So maybe let's say tube here. You can change the font size here. But if you don't want to change it with this option, you can still go out of the text option on the left. You can click again to selector, and then you can play with its size as if it was a drawn object here. But if I go to text again, you see that you can play with the text font. Okay. Here, CMU serif is the LaTeX default font. And I think that you don't have it in advance on your computer, but I gave explanation steps on the GitHub tutorial to tell you how to download it and be able to select the LaTeX language, the LaTeX font to add text here on your figure. And also what you can do is to add an extension. Again, I'm explaining it on the GitHub how to do it. And once I downloaded this extension called text, you have it in extensions, text. If I'm left clicking, it will open a new window, and I will be able to write any mathematical formulation that I want. Let's say I would like to write an equation, which will be bold symbol. It's the same as mathbf. Y is equal to some operator, math calligraphic, A, applied to bold symbol X. So it's an equation like that here. You see that I added the $sign to be in math option. Here, basically, you can select any LaTeX package that imports commands that you are using for your papers. So I selected one that I created by myself. I will maybe provide one to you. There is a default one when you install the extension, but here it can happen that the commands are not found. If it's the case, you basically only have to add it to the LaTeX package that is used by the extension. And now I can save. And once I'm saving, it will basically generate the vector object that contains the equation that I just wrote. And you can see here that it opened. And you can zoom in, zoom out. It's a perfect resolution. You can play with the size, etc. Okay, you can play with the color as well. It's like anything. Okay. And last, if you are using ticks, ticks is like a LaTeX code to draw figures. Some people, some scientists are using it. There is also an extension that has been created, and there is a GitHub link that allows you to export any drawing to ticks format. And if I'm doing that, I could do something like select, and then can you see export somewhere? Export. Let me check about exporting. I think it's in extensions, export here. Here, export, and I can export to things because I added the extension. But again, I will not show you here today, but there is an option to export some figures that you drew to ticks, and then you can play with it in LaTeX. And if you do so, at the end, so I have an example that I added on the GitHub, and basically I will show you So this is, I will show you what is the object. Oh. So SVG2 ticks. So this is an articulated leg. It's actually the example of the extension to show you how it works. So if you draw this leg, you can do it. And then what you can do is export it to ticks. And what will be generated will be something that looks like, where is it? Ticks articulated leg.tech. And then you have the code that is related to the drawing that you just made. But I guess most of you won't need that. Okay? So I think this ends this tutorial. Thank you for attending. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.